In the news tonight, His Majesty the King inaugurates the first commercially driven 200-megawatt photovoltaic solar projects in Ma'an at an investment value of 400 million dinars. US-backed Iraqi forces push deeper into the last pocket of Mosul controlled by Daesh as the battle for the city approaches an end after 7 months of urban combat. And Emmanuel Macron becomes President of France in a ceremony at the Élysée and vows to heal divisions in society, a nod to the bitter campaign to defeat the leader of the far right. Good evening and welcome to a new edition of the news. Here are the details. His Majesty King Abdullah held talks in Muscat with Sultan Qaboos bin Said on relations between the two countries and ongoing developments in the region. The talks underlined the close and historic ties between Jordan and the Sultanate of Oman, with the two leaders affirming the need to continue to bolster bilateral cooperation in all spheres. The talks also reviewed regional issues as well as Arab and international efforts to find solutions to ongoing conflicts and reinstate security and stability in the region. Present at the talks were His Royal Highness Prince Ghazi bin Mohammed, His Majesty's Chief Advisor for Religious and Cultural Affairs, as well as the Sultan's personal advisor and the Minister of Diwan of the Royal Court, Khalid bin Hilal bin Saud al-Busaidi. Before departing for Muscat, King Abdullah led an inauguration ceremony at the first commercially driven 200-megawatt photovoltaic solar projects in Ma'an at an investment value of 400 million dinars. 10 plants in Ma'an to be followed by one in the Aqaba Special Economic Zone and another in Mafraq Governorate are set to produce 170 megawatt of renewable energy and generate some 150 job opportunities. In remarks at the ceremony, His Majesty said he looked forward to visiting Ma'an again soon to unveil other development projects that would create more jobs for the youth and help upgrade living standards in the governorate. During his tour in Ma'an, His Majesty also stopped by the Renewable Energy Institute of Excellence Mobile Unit, which provides training for youth aspiring for the renewable energy sector. Apart from contributing to environmental protection through reducing dioxide emissions, the project contributes to 8% renewable energy in the energy mix. Heike Harmgaard, head of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Developments, spoke to Jordan Television on Jordan's potential for such projects.
Very thrilled to be here today. It's an important day when His Majesty inaugurates the project, and this is, I think, really the kickstart, the beginning of the solar developments in Jordan. And I think Jordan has a great potential for solar energy, and EBRD is very pleased to be part from the beginning. And now we're looking and we financed 2 of round 2 solar projects in Mafraq. So now first Mar, now Mafraq, and we are looking forward to financing more projects in solar energy in round 3, but also looking forward to support Jordanian companies when wheeling projects as well, so private to private sales. So I think renewables, particularly solar, has a great future in Jordan, and EBRD is very proud to partner with Jordanian and international companies. We started investing in Jordan in 2012, and we have invested now $1 billion in Jordan, 900 million in the private sector. So we feel like we have really put our money where our mouth is, and we are proud to partner up in Jordan across many sectors.
Minister of Foreign and Expatriate Affairs Ayman Safadi received his Egyptian counterpart Sameh Shukri and PLO Secretary Saeb Ariqat for talks aimed at coordinating efforts to end the stalemate in the Palestinian-Israeli peace process. The trilateral meeting came upon directives from His Majesty the King as well as the Egyptian and Palestinian presidents as part of the three sides' continued consultation and cooperation, as well as their commitment to support the U.S. President towards achieving Palestinian-Israeli peace. The ministers reaffirmed commitment to peace with Israel as a strategic Arab choice based on a two-state solution and on the Arab Peace Initiative relaunched during the Arab Summit in March and unanimously agreed by the Arab leaders in the Amman Declaration. The ministers also urged the Israeli government to respect Palestinian detainees' lawful demands under the international justice system. They also reviewed regional developments relating to the fight against terror, as well as ways to end ongoing conflicts in the region. Here's an excerpt of Safadi's remarks at the joint news conference with Shukri and Ariqat.
Reiterated commitment to the peace as a strategic Arab choice, as emphasized in the Amman declaration that came out of the Arab summit in March this year. There, as you know, we relaunched the Arab Peace Initiative, which we believe is the most comprehensive offer to achieve comprehensive peace and historic reconciliation between the Arab states and Israel in general. We're committed to achieving that peace, and in that regard, we also discussed the outcome of the extremely positive and successful and productive talks the leaders had in Washington during their meetings with President Trump. We all value the obvious and solid commitment that the President had made to ensuring progress towards resolving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. And as our leaders emphasized there, we are willing to do the heavy lifting. We are going to do whatever it takes to help push the process forward and to be there supporting the President and working with him.
In a cabinet session earlier today, the ministers agreed to abolish the post of labor consultant at all Jordanian missions abroad. The decision was taken following an assessment suggesting that other embassy staff members are capable of performing the duties of the labor consultant. The move is also part of measures aimed at reducing overall public expenditure. Separately, the Foreign Ministry announced a set of new consular procedures at diplomatic missions abroad aimed at upgrading services to Jordanian nationals. Digitized processes, a hotline and strict deadlines are among measures introduced to expedite the issuance and renewal of travel documents as well as other legal papers. Under the new measures, damaged or lost passports are replaced within 10 days, while new passports are issued within 5 days. Among other improved procedures, the new measures came following an assessment carried out by a Foreign Affairs Committee named by Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi last week and tasked with streamlining consular affairs across Jordanian diplomatic missions and consulates abroad. Moving to Iraq, where U.S.-backed Iraqi forces pushed deeper into the last pocket of Mosul, controlled by Daesh terrorist group, as the battle for the city approaches an end. After 7 months of grueling urban combat, the terrorists have now been dislodged from all but a handful of districts in the western half of Mosul, including the Old City. Brigadier General Yahya Rasool told the media that the area now controlled by the terrorists is no more than 9% of West Mosul. In a coordinated move to defeat the group, the elite counter-terrorism service stormed the Uraybi and Rifai districts at dawn. And at the same time, the Army's 9th Division and the Interior Ministry's Elite Emergency Response Division attacked the Daesh bastion of 17 Tammuz. Vastly outnumbered by the forces, the terrorists are fighting back with suicide car bombs and snipers embedded among hundreds of thousands of civilians they are effectively holding hostage. Meanwhile, and as U.S.-backed forces close in on Daesh, Pope Francis called attention to the plight of people affected by war and conflict in the Middle East. After his regular Sunday address in the Vatican, the Pope said so many innocent people are being sorely tested, be they Christian or Muslim or from minority groups like the Yazidis, who are suffering tragic violence and discrimination. I encourage the different communities to follow the path of dialogue and friendship to build a future of respect, security and peace, far from any sort of war, the Pope said.
Amen.
Elsewhere in Iraq, the Shiite Hashd al-Sha'bi militia advanced in their wide-scale offensive to liberate the district of Al-Qayrawan and areas close to the Syrian border from Daesh, who have been in control of the area since 2014. The paramilitary groups, known collectively also as Popular Mobilization Forces, launched their attack on Friday and have been able to liberate several villages near the district of Al-Qayrawan west of Tal Afar. In the continued acts of terror, meanwhile, at least one civilian was killed and 6 people were injured when a suicide car bomb exploded in central Baghdad today. Police and medical sources said the blast occurred in the central district of Karada, close to a police checkpoint. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack. To Syria, the evacuation of rebels and their families continues as the Syrian army retakes areas from rebel control. Today, more than 1,500 rebels and their family members left the district of Qaboon on the edge of Damascus. In an overnight deal, the rebels agreed to evacuate the area, reduced to rubble after more than 2 months of aerial strikes and artillery shelling. Hundreds of rebels and their families were evacuated this week from the adjacent Berze district after rebels there laid down their arms and left to Idlib province. Army advances were made possible after tunnels between Qaboon and Berze were cut, and the army isolated the areas from the rest of the main rebel enclave of eastern Ghouta. Syrian state media said evacuations have also been completed and Qaboon is now securely in army hands. To Paris, where Emmanuel Macron became president of France in a solemn Élysée Palace ceremony. Macron assumed power after an hour-long private meeting with outgoing President François Hollande, in which official access to France's nuclear missile launch codes was handed over. The 39-year-old is now the youngest post-war French leader. Later departing from tradition, Macron chose to be driven by a military jeep rather than civilian limousine up to the Arc de Triomphe, where he stood in a downpour without raincoat or umbrella to light the flame in tribute to France's war dead at the tomb of the unknown soldier. In his inaugural address, President Macron pledged to build a strong and confident France he hoped could become one of the 21st century greatest powers and fully play its part in European and world affairs. Macron also pledged to work to overcome divisions in society, which had been shown by the presidential election campaign. Macron will name a prime minister tomorrow and the new government on Tuesday.
Monsieur le Président du Conseil.
On May 7th, the French people made a choice, and they should be thanked here. The responsibility they gave to me is an honor, and I appreciate its solemnity. The world and Europe need France now more than ever. They need a strong France which is confident in its destiny. They need a France which speaks out loudly for freedom and solidarity. They need a France which can invent the future.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel's Conservatives scored a major upset in a key state election, finishing ahead of the ruling Social Democrats SPD and boosting their hopes of retaining power in September's federal vote. The Christian Democrats CDU saw a strong surge of support in Germany's most populous state of North Rhine-Westphalia, where the SPD has ruled for most of the post-war years. According to an exit poll, the CDU won 34.5%, up from 26.3% in 2012. The SPD fell to 30.5% from 39.1%. It was a third straight state defeat for the SPD since March, casting a shadow over their once bright hopes of denying Merkel a four-year term on September 24th. And back here, theatre troupes from Arab and European countries will be performing at the 12th Liberal Theatre Festival, which kicked off today under the patronage of Minister of Culture, Nabih Shukum. The festival opened with an array of song and dance performances by Amman Folklore Group and the participating troupes dressed in traditional costumes. This year, the festival is titled Theatre in Confrontation of Radical Ideologies, and continues until the 18th with performances from, of course, Jordan, Tunisia, Egypt, Kuwait, Oman, Mexico, Chile, France, and Poland. A number of Jordanian and Arab artists were honored at the ceremony in appreciation of their role in spreading good social values through art. Kuwaiti celebrity Fatima Saifi, one of the artists honored today, hailed theatre as a meeting place of cultures and a platform to interact with other world artists. Portugal's Salvador Sobral won the 2017 Eurovision Song Contest, performing a jazz-style ballad written by his sister Luisa. He beat second-place Bulgaria. 25 competitors performed in the 62nd edition of the Eurovision contest in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. Going into the contest, Italy and Portugal were the bookmakers' favorites. But Sobral's performance was different than others as he sang from a small elevated circle in the middle of the crowd. His song Amar pelos dois, or Love for Both, struck an intimate chord with the audience. This is the first time Portugal won since it first entered the contest in 1964.
Pode amar pelos dois.
Winner! Tonight, we still have 376 points for Portugal, and that means that Portugal is the winner of the Eurovision Song Contest 2017! Congratulations, Portugal!
This could be a victory for music with people that make music that actually means something. Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling. So let's try to change this and bring music back, which is really what matters.
Thousands of bikers took the streets of the southern French town of Saint-Tropez to parade their Harley-Davidsons at the end of the Euro Festival 2017. The four-day event hosted about 6,000 motorcycles, with about 2,000 taking part in the parade. France is an old market for Harley-Davidson and the fifth worldwide. The event, which began on the 11th, offered an array of activities to motorbike addicts and participants, including motorcycle demonstrations, live music, shopping, helmet painting, and a massive parade to celebrate their love of bikes. Austrian Dominic Thiem advanced to his first Masters 1000 Series final after defeating Uruguayan Pablo Cuevas. Eighth-seeded Thiem and unseeded Cuevas engaged in several long rallies up until the Austrian took the match 6-4, 6-4. With a win, Thiem now sets a final with Rafa Nadal, who ended a 7-match losing streak against Novak Djokovic, winning 6-2, 6-4. Thiem, who won the Rio de Janeiro title in February, lost the Barcelona Open final to Nadal last month. The International Olympic Committee began their official visit to Paris to evaluate the city's bid for the 2024 Olympics and Paralympics. The French bid has played on the legacy of French educator Pierre de Coubertin, known as the father of the modern Olympic Games. Co-chairperson of the Paris 2024 bid committee said their vision is an Olympic Games that will unite and build a better world through sport. The bid focuses on sustainability with a proposal to use temporary venues. The choice for the 2024 Summer Games is down to Paris and Los Angeles. The winner will be announced on September 13th in Lima, Peru. Paris last hosted the Games in 1924. And finally, normal summer conditions continue for the rest of tonight and tomorrow, with a low of 17 degrees Celsius in Amman and a high of 33 degrees tomorrow. Winds will be northwesterly moderate to brisk, stirring dust in the southern and eastern regions. The Gulf of Aqaba, it remains very hot with northerly moderate winds and slightly high seas. Here now is a look at temperatures forecast for tonight and tomorrow. And to close, here's a reminder of the day's top stories. His Majesty the King inaugurates the first commercially driven 200 megawatt photovoltaic solar projects in Ma'an at an investment value of 400 million dinars. US-backed Iraqi forces push deeper into the last pocket of Mosul controlled by Daesh as the battle for the city approaches an end after 7 months of urban combat. And Emmanuel Macron becomes president of France in a ceremony at the Élysée and vows to heal divisions in society, a nod to the bitter campaign to defeat the leader of the far right. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of the news. I'm Alia Tuqan. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.